I've decided to create this video because there's a message which has been on my heart that I felt if I share it, you may notice something similar, if not exactly the same, happens for you as well. Now, if we look at the conditioning of society or the world at large, we see just how busy people are, going from one thing to the next. Their days are filled with doing, and people, quite frankly, are exhausted. So in the beginning of doing the work, or you could say being on the spiritual path, it is important that you are intentional about cultivating focused time for you set aside in your day where you can discover yourself on deeper levels or understand your true nature of awareness. Now, that may be through silence, you could say prayer or meditation. It may be through processes of contemplation. But we need to be in integrity to setting aside this time for ourselves so that we don't get lost in the noise and the busyness of the world, much like you would create time to do a specific project or even exercise, perhaps read a book. Make your spiritual journey a priority. But then what may happen down the line, and I've noticed this in my own process, is the ego tries to intercept this space as well and offers a narrative that you should be doing more. And there can be a very faint and subtle experience of some sort of guilt. Now, this is the ego's clever trick being played again. And it's simply in noticing this that we can see we are exactly where we are meant to be. So yes, silence and stillness is important because it ultimately allows us to recognize what we essentially are. But the more we abide in this stillness, the more the ego tries to take that away from us. And there needs to be balance. We need to be able to connect with our being, but then also to stand up and to share our being, to serve and pour it into the world because we know what we are. But initially, the silence, and still for me, it's an ongoing process. The silence is imperative, it's critical. And yes, being diligent about it is important. And it should remain that way. And it won't be so rigid because the silence starts to go with you wherever you go. So you can then find yourself being busy, you can do certain tasks, you can be in the world. But I guess this is what they say, not of the world, right? You know that there is an awareness and the presence of your being is with you wherever it is that you may go and whatever it is that you may be doing. But don't be caught by the ego's attempts to guilt trip you and try and punish you into thinking that stillness and silence is wrong, that now you are taking time where you shouldn't be doing spiritual practices, you shouldn't be honoring your own process, and in fact you should just be doing more, because that is just the conditioning which is trying to repeat itself. And if you buy into that pattern of guilt, then you will get up, you will get into the world, you will get busy, and you will just be caught in the momentum of conditioning. So try to see for yourself that it's a delicate process between really honoring what it means to be still and intentionally so, and then also playing your part and fulfilling your highest function or role as a human being in society. But what definitely starts to happen is the silent stillness of awareness goes with you wherever you go. The ego will try and find you and trick you into believing all sorts of things. But the more time you spend in stillness, the more you are aware of the fact that this voice in the head is not who you are. And in fact, silent stillness is what you are. Now you can take that silent stillness with you wherever you go, as a total, whole, and nourished being who wants to shine a light in the world, which is deeper and more profound and more apparent, not through what you say or what you do, but invisibly communicated with others through who you choose to be as an expression of the divine.